All right, so some politics before I give it to you, Jen. ODM Jubilee won city MCAs over standing orders change. Now, Nairobi MCAs could be punished if they amend the standing orders, standing orders to remove the role of the political parties in determining assembly leadership. By removing the role of the parties, the MCAs will give themselves the power to elect their own assembly leaders. And now they are being warned not to change the standing orders. Jen.
Coming to the people daily, I think some of these stories we've already touched on them. West Kenya villagers now come face to face with COVID-19. The story in regards to candidates who have gotten, who have been selected to universities that they're pursuing courses that they had initially requested for. But the main story here is also something that you've touched on, Victor, when Sonko hired 33 guards. Yes. Police guards, and he is said to have spent about 4 million
shillings
during a 3-week coastal visit. Si watupe milioni tatu to invest.
And to see, according to the law, every governor is allowed to have 5 armed police officers, a maximum of 5.
Yes.
And here they were 33.
For a period of 3 weeks.
Yes.
So this is not even at the security that is needed, basic form of security. This is just being extra on another level. Anyway, the other story that is touching on some politics is that Jubilee and ODM I1 presidential candidate. And this is on page 2 of the People Daily, where Jubilee and ODM I1 presidential candidate for 2022. And this is all about the story that is going around in regards to a merger between Jubilee and ODM. So President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga allies are crafting a deal that would see these two parties field a single presidential candidate in next year's general election. And looking at politicians who are allied to either of these two parties, they say that Uhuru's Jubilee party and Raila's ODM party will be the culmination of the handshake with a merger between the two. Is this, are we seeing a merger in the offing, Victor? I mean, the ruling party and the opposition.
It's still possible. Remember President
What
Kenyatta?
Are the odds?
Yeah, President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga once worked together. So it's possible. Even Deputy President William Ruto, all of them worked together, remember? So in politics, anything is possible. Well, it's a cliche, but it's possible. They can merge, they can work together. They've been working together since 2018.
But then comes in the question of accountability, and it's something that political experts have brought out. You know, the opposition is meant to keep the ruling party on toes, to check them when they are not doing what they're supposed to. So are we going to be a country without an official opposition party, or we are yet to see another party come out as the opposition?
Opposition parties always emerge, and even as we speak right now, there are some parties and some affiliated parties which are now, you know, deemed to be in the opposition. Well, we cannot authenticate. Really? We cannot authenticate, but from the talks out there, it seems that we have an opposition which is quite vibrant, but the non-opposition that used to be there is still merged with the government. So, you know, as they say that they are planning to merge and work together.
Honestly, I don't think we have an opposition as a country, because the NASA coalition is what was the official opposition here in the country. And fact still remains, they are the ones that were keeping the ruling party on toes. But ever since the handshake, which was good for the country, I mean, we have clearly seen peace in the country. There came in the question of official opposition, and is it necessary for a country to have official opposition?
Well, for the sake of keeping the government on check and on toes, it's quite, in a democracy, it's necessary. It's necessary. But then, in our setup right now, I think it was quite important as well just to put everything aside for the sake of development. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta said that his second term, he's enjoyed some relative peace and a lot of developments and in his second term, and that was just necessitated by the opposition in his first term. I mean, he couldn't do anything. The opposition was always behind him, questioning every single move that he used to make. So
and
it was tough for him.
Just looking at the aspect of development, you know, we need to also cut the president some slack. I mean, he was the first president to assume leadership of the country under this devolved system. And the first round is always about learning, and he has actually testified to that fact.
They usually say adopting and adapting.
Yeah, and given you are adopting a whole new way of running the country, and it is also your first term as president, there is so much that he had to learn the hard way.
Absolutely.
But let's wait and see if this talk about a merger is anything to go by. But until it culminates, we can only just speculate. But we will give you confirmed information as and when we get it.
All right. Jen?
Yes.
Met says that there will be 2 more dry months, so get ready.
Ooh.
Only Western will have some rain. The rest of the country will be cool. All right? So most of the country will be warmer than usual until September, according to the Meteorological Department. Only Western Kenya will have rain, with the rest of the country being cool and dry. So the report issued by the IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center means that the ongoing drought in many parts of the northeastern and Ukambani might continue. So, just to give you, today, Ngwata Francis, the legend.
Yes.
Yes. I've just done his job. Yes, the weatherman. All right? All right. So, that issue of NHIF seeks to tame rogue private insurers. A new study has revealed how private health insurers have been running away from hospital bills, sometimes forcing the NHIF to cover the entire amount. Currently, health facilities must first secure National Hospital Insurance Fund pre-authorization before private insurers can commit to pay. So, as I said, last week we had a candid discussion with the NHIF boss, Peter Kamonya, who said that they are working around the clock to make sure that such things do not happen. All right? Okay. Task Force on Power Deals Comms company files as probe hits up. All right? At least 27 independent power producers are under the watch of the 15-member team. All right? So that story there. There's a story here for Subaru lovers. It says that that is in business. Subaru shortage looms as Japan cuts production. Ooh. All right. So this is it. Kenya's used car market faces disruption in the supply of Subaru as production in Japan faces a shortage of semiconductors. So the story says that this is likely to lead to people in the source markets holding on to their cars for longer, reducing the number of used units available for exports. Therefore, there has been a shortage of tiny but critical chips used to calibrate cars, fuel injection, run infotainment systems, or provide the brains for cruise control. Okay, so it's a dangerous stuff because for a car to be brought out for consumption or for personal use now, then it has to go under, quality assurance checks, and such kind of tiny components missing, it's, it can easily kill the reputation of a brand. So I don't think Subaru Kenya or Subaru makers in Japan will have that running, and I know they will take that kind of stand moving forward. So if you're a Subaru lover, you just have to hold on a bit before you get that next ride. All right, Jen, what do you have?
Let's talk about what is happening in Lusaka's backyard. Before we get to take our very first break.
Right.
And this is a story that people have had a lot to say about. So now, a woman accuses Lusaka of neglecting unborn baby and demands 25,000, not 25,000, pardon me, Jesus, Jane, where are the zeros? 25 million Kenya shillings. So this is a case that was being presided over by Justice James Makau, and he certified that the matter as an urgent and it needed directed that Lusaka be served with the petition. So what is the petition, you ask? Well, let me tell you. So Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka has been sued by a woman who is seeking 25 million payment for the upkeep of their unborn child. The woman claims that she has been Lusaka's girlfriend for a period of 3 years. And they recently had a fallout after Lusaka insisted that she terminates the pregnancy, to which she refused. So now she wants Lusaka to be compelled by the court to be making monthly maintenance, of 200,000 Kenya shillings in order for her to meet the direct or indirect needs of their unborn child. But before then, these were the words of Justice James Makau. Pending the hearing and determination of this petition, the respondent be ordered to support the unborn child by making a lump sum payment of 25 million Kenya shillings or any other reasonable amount in the circumstance which should meet the direct or indirect needs of the unborn child and after its birth. End quote, as the petition read. Ni hayo tu.
All right. And on that note, I think it's now the right time to take our first break.
Yes, it is.
On Good Morning Kenya. It's a tough situation, and how things just turn out, maybe, perhaps, you know, it's a crazy world.
First of all, I don't understand why people are going around having babies as though children are goodies being given out.
Come on, Jane.
Honestly.
Come on.
You know, we have children whom we put in situations that they never chose to be in.
Absolutely. Plan
we
for
are
them.
Seeing so many broken families in this day and time.
Yes.
And sadly, as grown-ups, to some extent, we have power to control that, but we choose not to. We just look at our selfish needs and what we may stand to gain. At the end of the day, it is the children who bear the brunt.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more news preview after this. This is our first break, okay?
Yes.
Let's take that break.
Be right back.
Let's go. We'll be right back.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na korona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya umma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria, na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
This is it. The wait is over. The rally drivers are here. 2 days to go to the biggest sporting event this year, the WRC Safari Rally. Catch all the drama and action of the Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. This event will also be covered live on KBC Radio Taifa and streamed live on www.kbc.co.ke. Don't miss out. Rally in the wild with KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Trouble comes in different shapes and forms. But what's important is getting out there and off the beaten path. Learning about different cultures. Getting that adrenaline pumping whilst taking in nature's beauty.
Muchas gracias. Bene, bene. Beautiful.
This season, we're proud to show you our home, that being Kenya. All this and so much more, only on Zurura. Find your adventure.
My name is Helen Shiri, formerly of Warembo Bila Makeup Rally Team and Head Girl Racing. The moment I'm in organization for this safari rally, I'll be the event secretary. We are really supporting the ladies in safari, the ones that have entered. I'm hoping they're going to give the men a run for the sport they are better known in. We've really been waiting for this for a long time. We've worked hard on making the preps ready. All we are asking the Kenyans is, if you're not able to come to the spectator stage, you will be able to follow the whole rally in KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. Wait.
Okay.
Dibs.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Welcome back. All right. Okay, you are still watching Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. Still continuing with in the headlines, making headlines on your local dailies. And it's now time to go for the standard and give you what's making the headlines. All right, there we have it. On the standard, Ruto allies plan must walk out. Ruto and allies plan must walk out. The story continues to say that edged out of Jubilee, the DP has embraced UDA. Between now and December, he must assemble it into a formidable party. Eventually, he will have to dump the ruling outfit as IEBC nominations calendar kicks in. So that is a story that is captured on the front page of the Standard. And of course, Uhuru Raila in power, in plan for power. That is, the coalition pact between Jubilee and ODM lifts the lead on a grand scheme for a joint presidential candidate that will bring on board more partners. This continues to unravel. Remember, last week, President Kenyatta said that he will go with any candidate that NASA candidates will front during their unity talks, and of course said that that is his stand. So moving forward, it's going to be interesting how political parties will perform ahead of 2022 general election. That story, WRC, of course, the Safari Rally is here, fleshed out for you also there. And on that story of Ruto and allies plan to walk out, we have got Rigathi Gachagua, who is MP of Madeira, in the quote. He said that we will begin a mass walkout from Jubilee this December and January 2022. No one in Jubilee will purport to discipline anyone when they have the party leader supporting the opposition. And Joshua Kutuny, Jubilee Deputy Secretary General, says that those terming Ruto and his allies planning to walk out of the Jubilee are free to do so. It is their constitutional right to choose whichever party they wish to join. Okay, I wish them well. That's what he said, end of quote. So that story also there. There is that story of, Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka, also captured on page 3 of the Standard, and I'll not go back into details because we've had it already. And again, Jakoyo, that's the late former Game MP, Jakoyo Midio, will be laid to rest at his Akala home in Siaya County on Saturday. That is according to his brother, Dr. George Midiwo. Jakoyo fell ill suddenly and was taken to Nairobi Hospital for emergency treatment, but died on June 14th. All right, so Midiwo, Dr. Midiwo said that the burial committee in Gem, Kisumu and Nairobi were planning to give Jakoyo a befitting send-off. All right, so Jakoyo Midiwo will be laid to rest on Saturday at Akala in Siaya County. That is where his home is. Okay, there's a story here for a man, 42, arrested over defilement and killing of pupil. A 42-year-old man has been arrested over the rape and murder of a 10-year-old girl in Kericho. Kericho County Criminal Investigations Officer John Onyango said that the preliminary investigations showed the suspect abducted the minor on her way home from school and took her to his house. I mean, the issues of men doing such kind of heinous acts have been on the rise. And at this particular point, I think it's just a wake-up call that we have to, I mean, be the providers, the keepers. And of course, they need our security. So when the man who is supposed to be giving security to the young ones now being their tormentors, it doesn't work out well, all right? So why Ruto must get out of party in good time? That's a story there on page 4 of the Standard, and I will tell you more details briefly. Jen.
Now, Vic, there's a whole page here on People Daily that talks of how when human error goes to hilarious extremes. Now, before, this is the story that has been captured on the entire page here, but before we get to this, you guys remember we had a launch yesterday for those who did not already get the juice. Right. And the hashtag that was running this social media streets yesterday was This is KBC. And our station was undergoing a rebranding and relaunched, and that is mainly KBC Channel 1, Radio Taifa, and the English service crew. And this morning, we just want to interact with our fellow breakfast gang from the English service side of the divide. We have Shiko and Chico on the other side. Mr. Director, tuko ready na our gang on the other side. What's up, Shiko and Chico? How you guys doing?
Well, my status today is very simple. Okay, but I will put believe, because that's all I'm doing right now. I believe in hanging out with you and having a fantastic show every single morning. I believe in entertaining you listening to us. We love to have your company. And I also believe that I'll help you style off. So believe. And I believe in the next, what is it? Status update? That's one. We have two. Yes. Let's go.
Yeah. So we've got one here that says, since death has no date, consider every day as the last day of your life. Do good to all and forgive one another. And then there's one here from Macau that says, sometimes we can only find our true direction when we let the wind of change carry us.
I think I'm going with the second one. Not that the first one was any bad or anything. No problem with that. It's just that I don't get jerky for. Yo, remember, it's the last day. Like, I know I'm gonna die. I don't want to think about that right now. But winds of change, I like that. Hey, Mama, I made it! I'm on TV. How about that? I hope you're enjoying yourself. So if we're on TV, I guess they can hear us, right? Victor, hello? Are they there? Can they hear us?
Hi. Hey, Chico Lawi, good morning.
Victor, we had Victor a minute ago.
Hey, but I'm dark-skinned.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? We can hear you.
That's a face only a mother could love.
Face for radio. Oh, you can hear. Oh, that's a beautiful voice. Are you sure you don't want to do radio with me?
Oh, yes, sure. Chico, you will have to come to this desk and then probably just cross over to the studios, you know? We can do this.
Okay, so there's a delay. Guys, I hope you guys are having a blast. Here's the thing that I wanted us to talk about, and I hope I'm not talking over you, Victor. Maybe I am, but we can barely hear you. But just for the record, you guys have a fantastic look. I know you're seeing our studios. Relax. You guys have a beautiful studio. We are working on it. Our new studios will be having this fresh look. And you know, if that was a lie, I'd be putting pressure on the bosses, but it's not a lie. They are working on it. So we'll look as good as you guys, but we love the things that are back. Vihoja Mahakamani, the original is back. Oh, that's fantastic.
There's a brand new series, Maza. That's what I'm waiting for.
Now, you know the story of Maza. You know the story of Maza.
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Yeah, so this person comes into a family and has their own principles and decides to put their principles on this family and make them change for what they want them to be. Pretty much like what you would do if you had come into someone else's family. You go and you try and change. So those are one of the shows that I'm looking forward to.
What's this guy saying?
I have no idea yet. But it's a fantastic show, and we hope that we will be catching that.
Okay.
The Safari Rally is also there. What else do we look forward to?
Chico Lawi, just a question. We have rebranded, and the English service is just on fire. What should we expect from you guys?
Is it me or did you just lose Victor?
No, I can barely hear him. I know he's talking.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Sawa. I see silence there, so I'm assuming we can jump in here. We can barely hear you, so we'll probably have to just say goodbye. Julia, can you speak? People want to see this radio face.
All right.
And hear your voice.
This is Julia Wanjiko, Shiko, on the brand new Breakfast Club on KBC English Service with Shiko and Chico. And we're coming back with your birthday shout-outs right after this. Once again, Mark Macau, congratulations for the status of the day. Sometimes you can only find our true direction when we let the wind of change come.
Mark Macau, send your number, DM your number, me to me at 250. Aye.
Wow. Jane.
Yeah, man.
Reminds me of my radio days. Radio is interesting.
That is what is happening on that side.
The
Chico
kind
and
of energy.
Chico.
Chico and Chico.
And for those of you who are wondering, it is Chico Lawi. So hatusemi maneno mingi. And we can see actually Doreen is there with Chico. So maybe, Mr. Director, sijui kama tunaweza listen in ama unaonaje hii asubuhi.
Face, okay, you don't have to, so get used to the voice.
But at least they've seen the face, and that's the important thing.
There we go.
All right, Jane and Victor. And right now, actually, when you leave the English service, we go to Radio Taifa because, like we said, KBC is rebranding, and this is just one of them. So clearly, also Radio Taifa.
Absolutely, and it's a motto. It's fire already.
Motto, come on in.
Absolutely, come a fire.
Come on, all right, Jane and Victor, we're going out to Radio Taifa, and of course, we'll bring you more of the freshness that the KBC is trying to. So viewers should just, and our viewers and our listeners, both of them, lazima wakae pale wamengoja, because it's all going to be brand new, exciting, interesting. You don't want to miss this. You really don't want to miss this. Vic and Jane.
So that is from English service. Ndio wanadance hapo.
This is interesting. I mean, Doreen Narange, you're having more fun than us here. No. Okay.
So that is what is happening on English service. They also rebranded yesterday. In as much as Chico and Athea administration pressure helpful in regards to redoing the studio, don't worry. And just as yesterday we had a conversation with our managing director, and he did say that this rebrand is part of a bigger strategy of just repositioning us as the state broadcaster, and especially when it comes to our mandate in delivering. In a bit, we'll also be linking up with Doreen again as she crosses over to Radio Taifa, where Bonnie and Cynthia are live on air. Sisi watu asubuhi tunapenda kusalimiana to Julia and Hali, just to understand how things are for them, what more plans they have for you as our viewer and as our listener of the many stations that we have under the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation umbrella. So Doreen, she will be back in a bit. Now, before we get back to Doreen, ukiona Victor ametoa handkerchief akapanguza forehead.
It's hot.
Ile moto inaenda kuwashwa na director wetu.
It's hot here.
Moto. Now, remember there's this story that I had mentioned that is about when human error goes to hilarious extremes. Entire page here. So starting with a story that has been captured here, something that happened back in 2016 in India, where there was a statue of Jesus and it was weeping, only for the people to find out that the holy water that was leaking from the eyes of this statue was actually sewage. How? Human error number one. Human error number two. So there's this family in China that had to give up their pet puppy, only when they came to find out 2 years later that it was growing into a bear.
Ooh.
How do you confuse a grizzly bear with a puppy? For 2 years, they had raised this bear, a grizzly one, thinking that it was a puppy. And then when it started growing to massive sizes, that's when they're like, Kwani, this dog is mutated. And we're in China, so it couldn't have mutated anywhere else. We are the masters of mutation. Then we move on to this other story here. Now this one is just, I think it's just plain ignorance, Vic. So there's this woman, this is a story that happened last year in California, where this woman was shocked to realize that the potted plant she has been watering and looking after for the last 2 years was actually made of plastic.
No. Newspaper down. Was made of what?
Plastic. You water and care for a plant for 2 years, only for you to just flip it upside down to see it has a wooden stamp. Do you discover any plastic?
I mean, just first of all, have to verify. Everything is fake in this world nowadays.
But 2 years? 2 years. Even this other one's raising a bear for 2 years, only to come and discover that it is actually a bear thinking it was a puppy.
Wow. Okay.
Or I'm the one who's being a bit too critical.
All right.
But really, Victor.
Jen, before you continue, there's a gentleman here called Omondi, all the way from Kisumu, says that he's watching and says that you look good.
What's up, Omondi? Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for checking in.
Absolutely. And there's another one called Fred, all the way from Bondo, saying that Bondo is locked.
What's up?
All right. So, we are here. Omondi and Fred, thank you for watching.
Yes.
And let's keep doing this. Okay. Let's continue with taking a look at what's happening on the Standard newspaper and why Ruto must get out of party in good time. Between now and April next year, the Deputy President must make hard decisions. Deputy President William Ruto is walking a tightrope as he navigates building a political party to use in his presidential bid and having to resign from Jubilee at least 8 months before the general election. As at yesterday, reports indicated that UDA party had registered almost around 1.5 million members in the Rift Valley, and the recruitment of members still continue to take shape. All right, still on politics, grand plan behind Uhuru and Raila 2022 election pact. And we have the game plan is to bring on board all political parties backing the Building Bridges initiative to support one candidate for the presidency. The planned 2022 pre-election coalition between Jubilee and ODM has lifted the lead on a grand scheme for a joint presidential candidate to face off with the Deputy President, William Ruto. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga have already started talks to craft a coalition. Okay, the game plan, according to an insider, is to bring on board all political parties in support of the Building Bridges initiative to back one candidate for the presidency. So this is going to be interesting how it's going to move on. We have a quote by Atwoli there, that is KOTU's Secretary General, saying that it's going to be a two-horse race. Let those who think that they can go it alone try. That's according to Sec-Gen of KOTU, Francis Atwoli. Of course, they say that they are going to have a coalition to front one candidate who is going to battle it out with Deputy President William Ruto in 2022. Now, university students who missed dream courses to make fresh pick, now this is a sigh of relief. So if you made your bid to have your courses, then you have another chance. University students who missed dream courses to make fresh pick, that is according to the students who will have to up to July 5th to make fresh applications before placement results are released. And some 32,718 students who qualified for admissions to universities and colleges have missed out on any of the courses they selected. Data from the Kenya Universities Colleges Placement Service also shows that some 10,707 students who scored the minimum university entry of C+ did not make any course selection. So you have another chance to make your pick even as that happens. Now, there is this case here. Traders throng Mombasa for KRA's big sale. Taxman in race against time to meet its revenue collection target before the end of this financial year. And now it says that luxurious cars are among the uncollected fleet of vehicles to face the auctioneer's hammer in one of the largest sale to be conducted by the taxman in Mombasa County. Now, high-end vehicles like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, and Land Rover are among the items listed by the KRA for the auction scheduled to take place tomorrow until Thursday. Hundreds of bidders eyeing the goods started trickling into the coastal town as early as Saturday for the auction, in which KRA expects to collect some 200 million shillings that seeks to dispose 314 high-end cars and assorted goods in 23 containers. So if you want an item in Mombasa, may it be cars, electronics, what have you, household items, you better rush to Mombasa and collect anything you want. So this is it. KRA expect to collect from the sale of 314 cars at assorted goods in Mombasa, 223 containers, 200 million shillings. So that is it. So at any given point, KRA is allowed by law to auction, at least to recover and just to clear the dock for any fresh imports into the country. Jen.
And speaking of KRA, have you filed your returns?
Have you filed your returns?
Nangoja tarehe 30. Ndio kumbuke you're supposed to file your returns, or the 1st of July for that matter, and then you remember you forgot to file your returns, and then you will be fined. My guys, file your returns. We have about 9 days to go.
Yeah.
9 days to go, so make sure you file your returns. If you do not know how to, I'm sure the World Wide Web is there. Google your way around it. Ask experts. We will be looking for experts who can help you know how you can be able to file your returns, whether it's nil or all the other different categories that are there. But remember, file your returns. Wanasemanga kuripa, kuripa.
No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Take some water, take some water, take some water, take some water. Take some water, Jane. Come on. Take some water. Sip it. It's good. It's good for your tongue.
To my roots. Kuripa ushuru ni kujitegemea.
Ripa. It's some hot water will do for you.
Kulipa ushuru.
Hot water.
Ni kujitegemea si kuripa. It is well. It is well. So remember to file your returns, guys, if you do not want to get the fines that come with failure of filing returns. Now, of course, politics still run the day. And here, there is a piece where Agriculture CS, that is Peter Munya, who is now accusing Muturi and Kiraitu for plotting to split the Mount Kenya region. Now, he accused a section of leaders of trying to divide the Mount Kenya region votes ahead of the general elections next year, and saying this is an intentional move that they are making. All right?
Right.
So he goes on to say that, and he was speaking at his home in Muthara when he accused Meru Governor Kiraito Muronge and National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, who recently got coronated, and especially highlighting that that was a strategic move, saying that they were spearheading a scheme to split Mount Kenya region and people for their selfish political gain. He further on went to claim that breaking the political bond between Mount Kenya East and West would disadvantage the region in next year's general elections. And in his own words, he said, who is cheating some of these leaders like Kiraito and Muturi that Mount Kenya East alone has got the tyranny of numbers? Well, This is a daydream. We cannot talk of chasing a share of the national cake if we do not have the numbers. We need to unite as Mount Kenya so that we can have a stronger bargaining power. When it comes to respecting the decision that was made, or rather not respecting, Kiraito Moronge kicked off what has been called a political storm in the Mount Kenya region with his declaration that it was time for Mount Kenya West to demand a presidential candidate from the East. In his own words, he said, "We are not as foolish as we look. We have been in the political cold for many years, and it is time that we have a president from the West as well." End quote. Now, this also speaks to his ambitions. However, he left the vote-rich Mount Kenya region divided, with the possibility that Mount Kenya East and Central may not vote the same come 2022. And this is something that we have seen so many political experts come out to say, that Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West might not vote along the same, on the same candidate, and thus bringing a split in one of the regions that has one of the biggest chunk when it comes to the vote here in Kenya. But again, we have to wait and see how this plays out. Vic.
All right, Jen, we are almost coming to the end of this one, but then one more thing.
Yes.
Okay. So, are you planning to watch Safari Rally? This is happening in the country after 19 years. And President Kenyatta promised this during his 2013 campaigns. He said that during his time, he will make sure that Safari Rally imerudi hapa hapa. And here we are. It is an opportunity of a lifetime. There will be a ceremonial stage flag off at the KICC, and then all the vehicles, all the machines will cruise down to Nakuru County and Naivasha down there. The Hell's Gate. It's just going to be a whole weekend full packed, petrol heads, you know what I'm talking about. But then I'm told,
AKA Victor.
No, I'm not a petrol head. I'm not a petrol head. I'm easy. Okay? But I'm told that almost all the hotels in the Rift Valley, in Naivasha, in Nakuru, and all the camping sites are all booked.
Booked at 100%.
Booked, fully booked.
Kenyans are not joking.
Yeah.
But this is something big for us as a country.
It is.
And it's even bigger for us as the state broadcaster, given we are the ones who are going to be exclusively airing it. For those of you who will not make it there, but you will definitely not miss even a single second of what that will be happening down the entire WRC period. We are here to cover you through and through.
Sure. All right, let me just give you a rundown. Kidogo tu. June 11th, date for the Safari Rally, and of course we expect that thing to start tomorrow, all right? And this is it. When the flag off will happen, all the vehicles will head down to Nakuru. They'll have an overnight stay in Naivasha, and before they start their Safari Rally. One of the gentlemen, who is called Ot Tanak and Sebastian Ogier, are all in the country, and you just have to, the thrill, the excitement as all the machines are zooming and leaving a cloud of dust behind you is just amazing. So if you need a family day out, Naivasha and Nakuru County is a place to be. I don't know what you'll be doing. I'll go down there. Live.
All right, so you definitely don't want to miss out on all that action from the 24th through to the 27th of this month. WRC will be airing exclusively right here on KBC Channel 1. We're here to just give you the best, manzi.
Absolutely.
Tunasemanga KBC tu ndio station.
We got you covered.
Izo zingine ni petrol station. That brings us to a close of this segment, and this has been In the Headlines, where we just get to have a quick look at what the papers have for us this morning. But do stay with us. We have more coming up after this break.
All right.
Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Zako, lakini ujue huku nyumbani majukumu yanakungoja.
Mimi naja Lea, naja.
Heri kuda na jistiri kwake kuliko kuku anayechangataka kwa watu mwisho akageuzwa mboga.
Ikiwa wewe hukushughulika hata na hawa watoto wa dadako, leo mimi nitakuhusisha vipi na masala yako?
Maya, mamdogo hawezi kukaa hapa.
Hawezi ama utaki akae.
Na ukifukuzwa kule nyumbani usije kunibishia hodi huko kwangu.
Ubishiwe.
I'm reminded how lucky I am to see this, and I'm humbled by their presence.
I hope you're ready for climbing trees.
This is Wildlife Warriors.
My name is Stella Masharia of the Warembo Bila Makeup All Ladies Rally Team. And for this particular event, I'll be volunteering at the WRC Secretariat office just to keep the hope and passion alive of all the ladies who will be watching this event. We have home advantage, so kick dust and make sure that you position Kenya right where we want it to be. And remember to tune in to KBC Channel 1 Live, Radio Taifa to catch the action from wherever you are. Warembo Bila Makeup, Head Girl Racing, Haraka Mamas, and the other teams that have packed the cars home. I'm sure we'll be back to just make the ladies teams great and more once again. We wish you nothing but the best. The champions who are also coming, Karibu Kenya.
This is Mwanasha Salim. She will sit here day and night unless a family member comes to her aid and helps her put on this artificial limb that acts as her right leg. Mwanasha has lived with leprosy for more than 50 years.
Nimeanza vidonda hapa kimoja, ikawa ikiingia ukikaa sana ule mfupo unaharibika, ndio nikaenda nikakatwa maembe.
What began as discolored patches on her skin when she was still a little girl would later cause her paralysis and loss of her limbs. The disease not only deprived her of the right to education, but also due to late diagnosis, Mwanasha, a once renowned business lady in Msambweni, bears deep scars of leprosy.
Kutoka nikatoa mguu, nashukuru sababu wana chakula tu, ukitoka una kazi yoyote kufanya, mikono una utafanya kazi gani?
In the neighboring Mwamanga village lives Rashid Mwagore. He is a leprosy survivor. Rashid tells me he began experiencing the early symptoms of leprosy almost a decade ago. But doctors diagnosed him with the disease in 2014.
Mwili ulikuwa unawasha sana, ninajikuna zaidi. Sasa ikawa najikuna, lakini alafu ninaacha kule kujikuna kwa sababu ninaendelea kujikuna karibu nijikate ngozi.
He was put on treatment for 1 year to stop the spread. Unfortunately, the disease had damaged his hands.
Sasa mpaka ni sasa pia ninaona uzito kwa sababu uzee na hii mikono bado kama imepumbaa, haijashika kitu sana, lakini hivyo pia nashukuru, sio kama pale mwanzo.
Abubakar Hamisi is a testimony that leprosy is entirely curable, and if treated in the early stages, disability can be averted.
Ishara moja ambayo ilikuwa inasumbua ni mwili kutambaa vidudu. Unasikia mwili kama unatembea wadudu, lakini hakuna mdudu mwenye anatembea. Alafu ngozi inageuka inakuwa nyeusi.
His case was identified by health workers before he experienced any symptoms. He was declared free from the disease 6 months into treatment.
Mpaka kufikia saa hii ile ugonjwa imeisha kwa mwili wangu, ambao ilikuwa kuna ishara ambazo zinaonekana kabla hujaulizwa kama wewe ni mgonjwa ama si mgonjwa. Kama hizo za vidonda. Vidonda vilikaa ndani ya miaka miwili.
Leprosy is an age-old skin disease that dates back to biblical times, where patients were treated as outcasts. In Kenya, not many are aware of its existence, and where it has been reported, patients have been ostracized by families and community. But in Kwale County, health workers are leading sensitization campaigns to raise awareness in the hope stigma surrounding it will be reduced.
I'm really amazed by how many people have turned up for this sensitization program. It really demonstrates how important it is to have such programs for communities.
Huwa tunahamasisha jamii ambao wamepatikana na huu ugonjwa, kama wanafanya kazi ngumu waweze kuvaa gloves ama viatu ngumu ambayo waweze kuingia msumari au mwiba, kwa sababu akidungwa na mwiba hawezi sikia. Pia kwa wale ambao wanaishi na watu wa ukoma, huwa tunawaambia wale watu ambao wako na ukoma waweze kuwapeleka hospitali wapate matibabu ili kusudi wasiweze kuambukiza wale wenza wao.
After the training, contact tracing begins. The team of healthcare workers gathers at the home of the cured patient before heading out to the surrounding communities to establish if anyone else has been infected.
Leprosy is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium leprae, and this bacteria is transmitted via droplets by someone who has leprosy who has not been treated. It's a painless disease, and in most of the communities where there is no pain, you get patients taking quite a long time before they come to the hospital. So some of the strategies that we use to get these patients early is when we get one patient, we go look for the contacts.
During tests, the healthcare workers check the earlobes, hands and feet, as well as the eyes.
We look for patients with the patches, the signs and symptoms that I had mentioned, the patches, the nodules on the earlobes, numbness on the hands and feet, and these are tests that we also perform that is called slit skin smear, of which we are able to pick the bacteria. First of all, it takes quite long, the period from when you get the bacteria and when the disease manifests. It can take up to 5 years and even up to 30 years.
Zain is happy. After various tests, medics have confirmed she has no leprosy. Leprosy spreads through droplets of nasal mucus between people in close, frequent contact. It damages peripheral nerves, and as the disease progresses, nerves swell, hands, feet, and facial skin become numb, muscles paralyze, leading to deformity. Loss of sensation also increases the risk of injury, with open wounds often becoming infected.
What normally happens when the bacteria gets into the body, it affects the nervous system, to be specific, the peripheral nervous system, and that's where the bacteria will lodge in the nerves, and that leads to your body trying to fight the bacteria, and it ends up damaging the nervous system.
Medicines to cure leprosy are available free of charge and have been hugely successful in the fight against the disease, but recently the progress has stagnated.
Currently, the support we are giving to our patients is counseling. We are giving counseling. We are diagnosing them. They don't pay diagnosis. They don't pay for the drugs. We are given free of charge by the Ministry of Health. Yes. Though the ones with disabilities, they are given the sandals to prevent them from getting hurt when they are walking in their chambers, when they are walking in the streets, because they are rubbers. They need to wear a footwear that cannot hurt themselves.
The World Health Organization records show there were 208,619 new leprosy cases registered globally in 2018 from 159 countries in the 6 WHO regions.
All right, welcome back. You are right in time for People in Politics. It's Tuesday, 22nd of June, 2021. And with me, I will be joined in studio via Zoom, of course, Dr. David Masanga, who is our analyst here. And of course, we have Joseph Simeka, who also will be joining me via Zoom all the way from Vihiga County, so that we can talk pertinent issues that affect you as a citizen of this country. But before then, you know, we got to do this. Let me join my colleague Doreen Arange on that side of the KBC Radio Taifa. Doreen, good morning once again. And Radio Taifa, you are just from the English service. Now you are at the other side of the Radio Taifa. Doreen.
I promised you earlier that we'll be coming to Radio Taifa just from Living English Service, because we want our viewers to also have a taste. The voices they hear, they put a face to it and try to understand what exactly we are doing as a corporation, what exactly KBC is doing, what exactly this rebranding is all about. And right about now, I'll be speaking to the two famous radio presenters. Umekuwa mkiwasikia pale zinga la asubuhi, but maybe
in radio we don't talk that much. We dance.
What do we do, Bonnie?
We dance first.
Okay, bring the song. This is actually all of them, and this is just their energy. Okay, let us go.
Where is it?
We don't speak in radio. We don't.
No. Kuna sura mpya ya kudance. Sura mpya.
All right, Victor and Jen, this is just the energy. So listen. When we tell you, our viewers, that actually KBC has rebranded after the relaunch yesterday, this is just what it means. It is the energy, it is the new face, the new voices coming also also in a new exciting one. Like I said, I'll be speaking to the radio presenters of Zinga la Asubuhi to also tell us ni nini kipya wasikilizaji watege. What exactly is new? And I'm here with Cynthia. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, mambo vipi?
Niko fiti sana.
Kuona umeng'arang'ara, umedance kidogo hapa.
Boni vizuri tuambie wasikilizaji wetu kwamba tuko live kwenye KBC Channel 1 sasa.
Exactly.
Ni mahojiano kati ya mtangazaji wetu wa Channel 1 pamoja na Cynthia Nyako. Tuendelee.
Exactly. Boni anasema kwa radio unajua tuongei sana vile kuna wakati wa kukatika.
Ni ukweli kabisa, ni maneno machache tu bora yamfikie yule msikilizaji. Na ni kwamba kama ulivyoona hapa umekuja na mambo ni mapya. Tulisema kwa muda mrefu karibu mwaka mmoja na hivi sasa yametimia. Wanasema hayawi huwa. Na ndio maana mambo mapya leo tumeyazindua kuanzia saa 12 asubuhi na tutazidi kuyazindua katika vipindi vyetu vyote vya KBC Radio Taifa. Na ni kwamba tuna muziki mipya hapa, jingles mpya, promos mpya, na pia ukiangalia Zinga kidogo tumebadilisha mambo. Tuko na magazeti mwanzo saa 12:30, alafu ikifika saa 1 kasoro dakika 10 sasa watu wana react kwa yale ambao wamesikia katika magazeti yetu, taarifa ambayo ni nzito. Alafu ujumbe maalum bado uko kuanzia saa 1:30 mpaka saa 2. Sasa kuanzia sasa tukishamalizana na nyinyi, kuna kitengo kinaitwa Gumzo la Radio Taifa, ambapo tunazungumza masuala ya kisiasa, tunazungumza biashara, tunazungumza social issues. Kwa hivyo tumempatia msikilizaji wetu mipangilio mizuri sana katika Zinga na pia katika vipindi vyetu vya Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya.
Okay. Cynthia, hasa nataka utueleze ndio pia wasikilizaji hata watazamaji wetu waweze kuelewa kwa haya yote ambayo umetaja. Nataka tu utambie kitu moja ambayo niseme kama outstanding. Ile yenye inafanya tu actually hili ni Zinga la Asubuhi. Imechange kabisa.
Unajua mwanzo Zinga sisi tuko na mtiririko wa wacha niziite segments na ni kwamba ile power of one, wanaita power of one ambao watu wengi wanapenda, ni ujumbe maalum. Maana walikuwa wanatuambia nyinyi mkizindua, zindueni kila kitu lakini msiguse ujumbe maalum. Ujumbe maalum ni nini? Ni kwamba tunashughulikia masuala ambayo ya kijamii, mara nyingi ni ya kijamii. Labda wewe pia najua uko na mchumba, labda ukikosana na mchumba wako hawezi kukosa ni msichana mkubwa, hawezi kukosa mchumba wako kukosana na yeye. Sasa tunawaleta pamoja ili kusudi muendelee kama familia, kama jamii. Sasa hiyo ni nzito. Alafu pia vile vile Gumzo la Radio Taifa tukizungumza masuala ya kisiasa, masuala ambayo Wakenya wanapenda sana, ya biashara na masuala pia ya kifamilia, ni segment ambayo ni nzito sana katika Zinga. Naam.
Kweli kabisa, ushasema yote.
Unamwona mkubwa wetu hapa, unajua sasa leo ni kwa sababu tunazindua na yeye pia amekuja hapa, yeye mwenyewe pia azungumze na kinywa chake. Na tumpatie mkubwa wetu.
Wacha basi nikuja kwa mdosi. Unajua anasema mwisho wa siku uko anda mkubwa. Cynthia amesema yake yote, ameweka wasikilizaji pale waweze kujua ni nini kipya haswa. Lakini nataka pia tusikie kutoka kwako. Ni nini haswa unataka wasikilizaji wetu waseme kwa kweli, nataka nikae pale kwa Zinga la Asubuhi. Hii ndio show yangu.
Naam, asante Boni.
Karibia microphone basi.
Ukweli ni kwamba haya yanayofanyika leo ni matokeo ya muda mrefu wa mipango pamoja na mipangilio. Kwa sababu si Zinga la Asubuhi pekee tunazindua, utaswirishaji yani imaging ya radio station yetu yote inaenda kubadilika kabisa kutokea asubuhi ya leo. Kama kwa mfano ikiwa umekuwa kusikiliza tangu asubuhi, imaging yetu iko tofauti kabisa. Halafu baada ya Zinga la Asubuhi kutakuja Top Mashariki. Top Mashariki pia wanafanya vitu katika namna ambayo ni tofauti kidogo, sababu kuna violezo yani role models ambao watakuwa kutokea katika biashara, kutokea katika siasa, kutokea katika michezo, kutokea katika sanaa, katika biashara. Sasa wao watakuwa nakuja ili kuwapa vijana ambao ndio walengwa wetu taswira kiolelezo ambapo kwamba hao ndio watu wa kuiga katika jamii zetu. Alafu baada Top Mashariki kutakuja Tafrija ambapo watangazaji wawili ni Mwamkondo pamoja na jirani. Hao watakuja jioni kidogo kutokea 4 PM na pia wanakuja na mambo mapya. Baadaye Reggae Vibes mchana pia tutakuwa na Reggae Vibes ambayo Jeff Mwangemi atakuwa na sukuma hilo bomba. Kuna rumba pia ambayo pia imeimarishwa zaidi, imeboreshwa zaidi. Alafu jioni, usiku kutakuwa na Sauti ya Mkenya. Katika Sauti ya Mkenya mkazo zaidi tunatilia katika vipindi vya afya, ambapo tunamulika juu ya mifupa, afya ya mifupa, viungo pamoja na misuli. Alafu pia kuna masuala ya lishe pia tunamulika juu yake katika hivi vipindi. Kwa hivyo kwa jumla ni kwamba matangazo yetu yameboreshwa, vipindi vyote vimeboreshwa, na mbali na hayo kuna flagship program ambayo tutakuwa tuna run kutoka katika pembe mbalimbali za jamhuri. It's a special program, ni unique program ya current affairs katika naambiwa kwamba nisogee katika microphone yetu. Wajua sisi watu ndio, lakini unajua sasa hivi Boni hapa wajua hatujazoea mambo ya TV, kwa hivyo sasa hivi sura ni muhimu zaidi bwana. Ningependa watu waone sura, ndio sababu unaona nasogea microphone yani. Kwa hiyo kwa ufupi nasema kwamba kuna kipindi ambacho tumezindua cha current affairs, tunakiita matukio ya taifa. Katika haya matukio ya taifa tuna reporters wetu ambao wako katika more than 33 counties, na katika kila siku kutakuwa na kipindi cha dakika 30 kutoka 7:30 PM katika Kiingereza, na pia kutakuwa katika kipindi cha aina hiyo katika Kiswahili. Na kuna maripota ambao wako ngangari kabisa sasa hivi hata wanatusikiliza kutokea leo jioni, na kila siku Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa watakuwa wanatuletea matukio yale ambayo yatakuwa yamefanyika, na it's a very very special program, akanashua hiyo. Ndio.
Kwa hivyo tuseme it's a full package, si hapa tuzinga la KBC, but it's a full package for the entire Radio Taifa.
Kabisa. Kwa Kiingereza, kama utanikubalia kusema katika Kiingereza, we are here to reclaim our position in the market. Bila shaka mashabiki wetu, wasikilizaji wetu watafurahia, watachangamkia haya yote ambayo tumezindua. It's a completely new radio station. Na hilo kwa kweli limeanzia kutoka leo. Nafikiri kwamba wale ambao wametusikiliza katika taarifa zetu za habari, Jonangara akisoma ni kwamba imekuwa special package, ni taarifa ya habari ambayo ni fupi alafu inalenga zaidi. Ndio. Boni au nimedata.
Amesema kweli kabisa. Haya, asante. Okay.
Na unajua nasikiliza ndio.
Aya, nataka sasa tukuje kwa Boni. Boni, unajua wanasema ngati mara nyingi wanakuona, wanakusikia lakini hawajakuona. Sasa wacha wakuone kabisa vizuri. Unakuona tu pale kwa TV lakini hapa wajui unakaa vipi. Acha sasa wakuone. Na nataka kutoka kwako tupate ile mtazamo wa social media. Unajua mara mingi nasema KBC hatuko pale kwenye social media, sauti yetu haisikiki pale. So wakati ambapo kumezinduliwa hivi, ni nini ambayo wasikilizaji wanafaa watarajie?
Kitu kimoja ambacho nitakueleza ni kwamba tulipokuwa tukijiandaa kwa ajili ya uzinduzi, tulizingatia mifumo ya kisasa ya utangazaji. Na mfumo mmoja wa kisasa ni kwamba radio siku hizi haiko tu hapa hewani, hii mix ambayo niko nayo hapa na hii microphone. Radio is online pia siku hizi. Kwa hivyo tunapozungumza hewani utapata kwamba kuna wenzetu wa digital ambao wanaandika mitandaoni kile tunachozungumza. Unaelewa Na wanatumia Twitter handles zetu, kwa mfano @KBC Radio Taifa, @Boni Musambi, @Cynthia_Anyango1. Pia kwenye Facebook tuko consistent kila siku katika fan page. Tunahakikisha kwamba tunaandikia wasikilizaji wetu kile ambacho wanatarajia kwenye radio, katika Instagram tuko na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo watu watarajie mwamko mpya wa KBC mtandaoni. That's why kutoka juzi #ThisIsKBC ina trend, kwa sababu tuko na kundi zima tu mtandaoni. Ndio.
Kwa hivyo inamaanisha pia si tuko pale, at least tumeonesha we are there, we are active, na Wakenya wanafaa pia watarajie hayo.
Very active na watu follow. Actually naomba kama unatusikiliza au kututazama utufollow katika Twitter handles zetu @Radio Taifa FM, @Boni Musambi, @Cynthia_Anyango1, na uendelee kuretweet kila tunapotweet, ndio tujue kwamba tuko pamoja. Sawa. Aha.
Asante sana Boni, tumeshukuru. Umetueleza yote ambayo people need to expect from KBC Radio Taifa, and also specifically from Zinga la Asubuhi. So actually this is just what is happening in regards to what KBC Channel 1 is doing. So it's not just the TV station, but clearly from what you've seen today, also the radio station that has been well captured there. So Jane and Victor, I'll get it back to you as you try to see much of what is happening, and also try to bring you more and more more, more and more radios and what they are doing there. Boni nasema to dance, so why not? Why not?
Oh my goodness. Doreen, if there is anybody who has had fun today, that is you. Of course, that is Radio Taifa with Boni Musangi, the legend, as well as Cynthia Anyango. As they've said it, you must expect and you should expect lots more from them. Thank you, Doreen, and of course, Boni Musangi and Cynthia Anyango doing a great job there. Earlier on, and Martin Kingasi as well, of course, who is the radio boss there at the Radio Taifa. And of course, they have just told you that they have got so much in store for you moving forward. It's a new dawn for the national broadcaster. Moving forward, it's going to be a whole new thing for you. So keep it there. All right. So let's drop that, and now let's get into the whole debate today. And as always, it's people and politics every Tuesday, and today is one-on-one, man-to-man today. I have Dr. David Masanga today with me, and it's going to be tough. We're going to tackle some of those issues head-on, and it's going to be, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. We're not going to fight literally. It's going to be cool. So, Dr. Masanga, welcome to the show as always, and thank you for always finding time to join us. First of all, let me start with you, Dr. Masanga. It's a new dawn for KBC, the national broadcaster. The station opened doors way back in 1928. What do you think about this, the new dawn for the KBC? Dr.
First of all, thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the managing director of KBC, my good friend, Dr. Bilal. Thank you very much. For the first time since I have been in Kenya, I can see that the giant of East and Central Africa has come back. The giant, this broadcasting station can be heard everywhere in East and Central African and Africa at large. If you are in Kigali, if you are in Kampala, if you are in Maputo, if you are in Harare, Dar es Salaam, you will hear a giant of East Africa, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. If you are in Sudan, in Khartoum, in Juba, in Addis Ababa, this radio station is heard. The colonial masters brought a very good station. And Victor, I am one of the most humbled and happy people, one of the happy people in this world of East Africa. That at last, we can now compete. At last, we can now challenge. We can bring a variety. We can stand. And I'm very happy to be the first person in this new studio to talk about Pan-Africanism and how to move forward. But I want to thank the management, especially Dr. Bilal and his team, the entire team, for bringing back the voices that we grew up. Maybe Victor grew up. For me, I started listening to Madame Kab.
Okay, all right.
Long time ago, and I'm very happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. I'll come back to you briefly. And of course, you as the viewer out there, remember we did our first relaunch yesterday evening with, of course, our amazing presenters and anchors. Yesterday we had got, Tomboya, we have got Purish Museo at 9 p.m. We had, Nancy Onyancha and our colleague, Harit Salim doing the 7 p.m. bulletin, and it was all amazing. All we can tell you is that the only place just to keep it right now is KBC Channel 1, because you're going to get the real story, fresh new talent. Some of them are the legends. We just have to bring it back, just go back to way back in the day and just get to know how the legends used to do this stuff, all right? So KBC Channel 1 is the place to be. And of course, we also have our, the English service and the Radio Taifa. all of them with new programs just to entice you and give you the entertainment, the education bit of it, and of course to inform you. So KBC is the way to go. You don't have to touch that dial. You know, on the radio section and the radio side, we also have talented and new talent. You know, earlier on we had Chico Lawi, also there with the Shiko. All right, my colleague Jen just said Shiko and Chico. All right, okay. So this is where we are. So KBC is the way to go. And of course, moving forward, we're also going to have a discussion with Dr. David Masanga on people and politics, just to have issues affecting you as a common mwananchi and what we need to know moving forward. Remember, 2022 politics is, you know, heating up slowly, day by day. And of course, politicians are also going to be scrambling to have that piece of cake. That is your vote. And how they're going to convince you, it is time for you to be taught and to be educated as a citizen for you to make the right decision. Okay, so we go to Dr. Masanga now. All right. Dr. Masanga, welcome to the program once again. And of course, it's a brand new dawn. Let me just start with this one. Yesterday, the Chief Justice, Martha Koome, just 3 weeks after the president, appointed the new judges, had to reshuffle the judges and make new appointments. I mean, just to transfer them and just to make the whole house in order. What do you think, and what is your take on that particular move that Justice Martha Koome made yesterday? Dr. Ari?
Thank you very much, viewers. It is the right move in the right direction. I have a lot of respect for the new Chief Justice, Madam or Lady Koome, Martha Koome. She will change things, and this is what we want in Africa. This is what we yearn for. People are looking at things changing, and her transferring people to different areas, to different courts, to give new breathing space for new people, a new direction for the judiciary. Remember, if the three arms of government are not working in harmony, you will have a lot of chaos. You will have a structural challenge. You will have a structural conflict coming out because they are not working together. I am very impressed that Madam or Lady Justice Koome, the Chief Justice, has taken this decision. Of course, Victor, it takes a time when there was an order saying they should not be deployed. I think she's taken a decision that whatever happens, these judges are already sworn in. And I have liked the way her approach, that I will still go back and have tea with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and we talk about that type of silent diplomacy. Silent diplomacy, not rooftop. Forget rooftop diplomacy. Rooftop diplomacy creates conflict, but silent diplomacy solves the problem, Victor.
All right, and now moving forward, it's a matter of now justice being dispensed, and the cases of case backlog. It's just one thing that Justice Martha Koome is going to battle with. Do we expect a kind of speed for these judges to clear this case backlog?
Yes, it is going, and all what we need. I think the government now, the executive, should look at giving money, empowering Lady Justice Koome to have money. There must be money available to be utilized on how to make cases be heard quickly, disposed of, and we have a serious, take people to court, take people to jail. Corruption charges are still hanging. So many people have been arrested, but nobody has been, you don't see some of the cases that have taken 5 years. Some cases have taken 5 years, and you can't know what is taking place in the courts. So time has come. Let's give her support. Let's give her moral support. She is going in the right direction. I am very pleased about it.
Absolutely. And so at the end of the day, what should we expect from Justice Martha Koome from that move?
To sentence people. Let's sentence people. There are cases there where there is evidence that the defense lawyers argue their case, the prosecution makes its case. Sentence people, send some people. You know, Victor, we are talking of Kenya being poor. We are talking of Africa being poor. Kenya and Africa are not poor. We are poor when Wanjiku is poor because money is taken by corrupt individuals. Money has been eaten. Money has been taken. Money has been seriously, corruptly taken by few individuals who have built palatial homes, while Wanjiku has nothing. So time has come to send some of these guys, like what happened in Singapore. You see them in the committee, then we can even educate their children while they are serving their sentence in committee. They should not be walking around here.
Okay. Daktari, at this particular point, well, the cases are now going to be expedited. Of course, many people would expect to have justice, served to them and dispensed quickly so that the case backlog in all these courts, as earlier is stated there, but even the previous regime, can be expedited and people can get justice. All right, Daktari, let's talk about the issue today on our newspapers. On the Standard, we have got Ruto allies and plan mass action, mass walkout. And another part is that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila in plan for power. Now, let me start with you, Daktari. We expect political parties to merge moving forward. And of course, we expect even, coalitions to be formed and mass walkout as expected. According to you, what do you think is the right thing that the deputy president can do right now to salvage himself and the UDA affiliate members?
Thank you very much for that question. There is something that I want to say this morning. A door is called a door because it opens and shuts. Full stop. I don't know whether, Victor, we are on the same length now. I'm becoming...
Oh, yes.
I'm trying to pick my philosophy. I also studied a bit of philosophy. A door is called a door because it opens and shuts. Time has come for President Uhuru Kenyatta to shut the door. For people who are not helping him in the remaining 1 and 12 months, shut the door. That's all. If you can get that philosophy, that's all. Shut the door. And those who want to open the door to go to UDA, go and go forever. Go and do something else. This question of pretending that we have a marriage, that there is a Jubilee, that there is President Uhuru Kenyatta, a friend of, they can be friends, hi, but there is no more friendship, Victor. It is gone. The marriage is not there. And let's speak facts. President Uhuru Kenyatta has a legacy to finish up to August next year. Let's not pretend. Your Excellency, shut the door. A door can be a door when it opens and shuts. It doesn't open and leave it open. It shuts. Those who have declared they are members of a new party with a new constitution, with a new manifesto, with a new ideology of hustler, shut the door. remain with a few friends. No, wait, let me finish. Remain with a few friends. Those who value the nation called Kenya, who want a united Kenya, according to your liking as the president. There are people who want Kenya united. There are people who are not looking for elections only.
Yes.
People in the region like us, we want a united
Daktari,
Yes.
Daktari, just 1 second. Let's just take a break, and when we come back, we are going to continue with that from where you just left it. And of course, when we come back, we are also going to delve more into some of the topical issues that we're going to talk about here today. So, Daktari, just stay with me. We'll be right back. And even you, as a viewer, don't go far away. We'll be right back.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
This is it. The wait is over. The rally drivers are here. 2 days to go to the biggest sporting event this year, the WRC Safari Rally. Catch all the drama and action of the Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. This event will also be covered live on KBC Radio Taifa and streamed live on www.kbc.co.ke. Don't miss out. Rally in the wild with KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
Love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the popos. Huh?
Drama.
Will he assault the queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Right, welcome back. You still continue to join the discussion, and of course I have Dr. David Masanga joining me via Zoom. Today is People and Politics, and today is one-on-one, man-to-man. And Dr. Masanga, we are just talking about the issue of, the UDA and affiliate parties, that is Deputy President William Ruto planning to have a mass walkout ahead of 2022. So let me just cross over to Dr. Masanga. Dr. You are having a discussion and you're saying something. What should we expect moving forward?
The party should, whoever has remained in the party,
yes,
those who want to remain in the Jubilee party can remain and work with the president. The two gentlemen were elected. One president had his ticket. That is a Jubilee ticket. And he chose a running mate. but a running mate later on in the first term, the president himself has told us he couldn't do anything much because there was a lot of corruption. He will explain what type of corruption. I am not here to make any allegations on anybody. The president will explain what type of corruption took place that made his work very difficult. The president said he's now working very well, he's doing good projects. Let His Excellency take the people who are friends, not people who pretend to be Machiavellian. Nikolai Machiavelli, the prince, you have read the book. I've read it from page 1 to page 2, almost 20 times. I can tell you, the deputy president played Machiavellian politics. It destroyed Jubilee Party. The Jubilee Party that was very strong, that most of us supported. I'm not a voter, but I'm a friend. Like a communist party would be a friend of Jubilee Party. You don't stop anybody in the world to be a friend of the conservative or Democrats or Republicans. I can be a friend if
but
I am contributing.
We expect many people and many political parties to be formed, and some of them to merge ahead of the 2022. Should we?
Yes, they will merge. And what you see now, those who the door is shut, those who remain in the room can merge with Raila Odinga. I am one of the few people who has been very frank this time. Yes, give Raila a chance. Wacha tuongee. I am at my age, I cannot fumble. If you expect me to come on this TV to fumble, sorry.
Of course
Raila
not.
has fought for freedom of this country. The speech that we have, the right to speak, the choice to associate, the choice for even Ruto to be able to say what he's saying, even me, is Raila. Yes.
Okay.
Give him a chance. I'm sorry. Give him a chance.
Okay.
Yes, I am not going to miss my words. If you don't, if you don't agree with me and you hate me because I've said it, let it be.
No. Nobody hates you. Nobody hates you for that. The only question here is
this time, Mr. Ruto is 52. Let him wait. Raila is going home with me. You look, we are now 65. I'm 65. Raila is 70 something. Give him a chance. Hala.
Okay. That will be determined at the ballot.
When did Africa turn upside down?
That will be determined at the ballot. But moving forward, most of the political parties, of course, will be crumbling. And of course, even, Mombasa Governor Joho said that, ODM should not go to bed and sleep easy. Even UDA and Deputy President William Ruto is also scouting for people from ODM. Is this a situation? Are we going likely to see so many politicians now crossing from one political party to the other?
That is political dynamism.
Yes.
It's called political dynamism in political science. Political science is not static. It is dynamic. It is like a constitution of Republic of any country. Even in London, in the UK where we live, some of us for many years, over 37 years, dynamism has been there from Margaret Thatcher to Johnny Major to Tony Blair to Gordon Brown to Cameroon. All these guys, it moves. It doesn't wait. You make alliances within your party. You must have people who support you and those who don't support. It is now very clear that the marriage between the president and the deputy is over. It is not there. Let's not pretend. Let these two gentlemen give Kenya. Let one give chance. And one of those who should give chance is the one who was delegated work and he did not deliver. Let the president deliver to the people what he can deliver in 12 months left. The legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the one I defend. Whether we have one or two one road made. That is the legacy. He wants a united Kenya. And there is nowhere else we shall speak apart from this government institution. Other radio stations and television stations gagas to say. Now we are going to say it on this government balanced. Bring anybody to make an argument with us. We shall say, give Uhuru a chance to finish his legacy. You have damaged his legacy. You have gone to his backyard. You have gone and planted seeds of discord in Mount Kenya, in Kiamba, in Kiambu, in everywhere. So give him a chance to rearrange. The door is shut.
Okay.
President, shut the door.
But the question is now, with his decision to back one of the opposition, you know, they come together. He said that whatever candidate that the opposition will come with, that the NASA brigade, they should unite first of all and come up with one candidate. And that is what President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to support. How is it going to change the political dynamism in the country moving forward?
That's what we are doing behind the scenes, Victor. We can't tell you on the platform. Leave us to arrange.
Okay, fine, but how will it change the political dynamism?
Don't worry.
With the president supporting the opposition, the perceived opposition.
The perceived opposition. If that perceived opposition, wait, Victor. If that perceived opposition did not wake up to shake hands, where would Kenya be? Where would Kenya be? We would be done already. Kenya was burning. Uhuru Kenyatta took a step. Raila Odinga took a step and did what we call a redemption strategy. For people who don't know what a redemption strategy is, one, reconciliation, truth-telling, accountability, restitution, reparation, and above all, healing. If you go to the 9 points of agenda of BBI, they form what we call a healing process.
Healing process, right?
Yes, a healing process. A healing process. And I warned the Kenyan politicians. I warned on this television. You remember? I said, the moment you turn this BBI into a political process, I have studied to the last iota on this earth. Even if my eyes are closed, I will come and write you a paper that will say a redemption strategy is the best for any country. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto and Raila Odinga and whoever wants. If you don't do redemption in Kenya, redemption in Kiswahili so that our viewers can know, is to clean, is to bring new hope, is to forgive, reconcile, restitute, resettle the IDPs, those who have no houses, whose houses were taken away, resettle them, restitute them into humanity. If you don't do that, and you are only looking at 2022, I hear people saying we shall live by December. December and go where? You live by December to go where? And
that's
you
according
go
to the that's according to the timeline, 8 months before the general election.
Let me ask you, Victor, you go on the fight.
Go ahead.
Without a good IEBC, and I repeat, no expert who has gone to a better school, a good school, will tell you that with an IEBC in Kenya as constituted today, it will produce a credible election. It will not. The people of Kenya must reconstitute the IEBC, bring it to a better IEBC so that the winner and the loser don't fight, but the winner and the loser catch hands so that Ruto goes to this election with two letters. One letter says, I have been defeated. Another letter says, I have won. If he wins, he pulls out the letter, reads to Kenyans, and embraces the opposition. That is what people are looking for. Forget about your UDA, which is doing what? Hustler. No. Kenyans want peace. They want peace after elections. They want to conduct their business like South Africa.
But do you think Kenya has become of age moving forward? Because come next year, we've learned from the past. But have we learned from the past so that moving forward to 2022, it's going to be a peaceful election? Have we?
It could. I am not a prophet of doom, and I don't want to predict that there will be chaos. But it could not. It might not be peaceful. Going by the words, have you seen how Ruto and others are exchanging words? You look at the politicians now. How do they exchange their words?
Of course, it's going to heat up. Of course, it's going to heat up moving forward, and of course, the politicians, NCIC will be, they will have a lot of work to do just to make sure that a lot of, peace prevails in the country moving towards 2022 general election. And let me just ask you this one now. The kind of coalition that, the president said that, NASA should unite. And now we see Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka saying that, no, he's not ready to support Raila Odinga once again. Raila on this end says that he's not declared his candidature for 2022. Is this just to wink Kenyans?
Yes. When the time, whether he has not declared or not, believe me or not, as long as Raila is still alive, Raila will be on the ballot. Can you write that down? Raila will be on the ballot. His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, I have already told you I like him to be on the ballot so that he gives Ruto for his money, a run for his money. That will be very good election. Raila is an orator. Raila has support. Don't underrate Raila's support. 2, Kalonzo is a good friend of mine, a senior counsel, a lawyer. But it looks he did not study political science. Mudavadi and Kalonzo are in agreement. And that agreement is that the political parties' offices, the register of political parties, for you, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo, to come out to say, I am not in NASA when you have not cancelled that agreement, you are like telling us to commit suicide. Why go back and cancel the agreement at the political parties act, register of political parties? Say we don't want. And I want to advise my young man, Wycliffe Musalia, because he's among the youngest there. He's about 50-something. Some of us know it.
Okay.
Please go and cancel. If you don't want anything to do with Raila, go to the political party headquarters. I'm giving them free lecture in political science. Go and cancel that agreement. And say we are no longer NASA. We are on our own. But you are still, the agreement binds you. You are still in the parliament. You are working together with the Mutula Kilonzo Jr. You are working together with the other people. They are there on that basis of the agreement. How do you say you are not part of it? Surely, don't tell me how. So let the people not lie. Kenyans should not take this type of lies. Kenyans are now very educated. Ask this gentleman, have you cancelled the agreement at the political party headquarters where you registered and delivered the agreement that we shall work together?
Yes.
You have it. And I like the way Moses Masika Wetangula, my good brother, my Mutiru from Butiru, the way he has kept quiet. That's very good, Moses. Play it quiet there. Because you know the law. The law is very clear. You know, in fact, if you play cool there, you are going to get these votes. These guys are coming out when they have not cancelled the agreement. Raila is very, very, very clever on this one. He has left them to make any noise. But you haven't cancelled that memorandum that you delivered in the register of political parties.
Yes. So we are likely to see them working together moving forward?
Oh, yes. We are working on that one behind the scenes. I can confidently tell you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. That
probably you can give us a little bit of some details what you're working on behind the scenes.
Victor, we are friends of the people of Kenya. One of the things I would like to never to see, because I was here in 2007, 2008, I stood for my people. One of the things I don't want to see again, as God could call me anytime because he's the one who has the timetable.
Yes.
To see any violence in Kenya. I will work, you can call me any names. You can even insult me from morning up to evening. I don't care. But I'm working for a better East Africa, a better regional East Africa. Call me, if Kenya goes down, my country will go down even worse than what it is today. Therefore, my strategic position is I keep my country running, you must keep Kenya running. And Kenya must be peaceful in order for Uganda, Sudan, Rwanda, Congo, and other countries to be peaceful in the region. I submit.
Okay, so the whole
is that you talked about IBC, not as currently constituted, is not ready to, conduct the general election. But last week, the chair of IBC, Wafula Chebukati, said very well that the commission is ready and the 2022 general election will be credible and will be open for all to see. Is that the situation that we are likely to see, Daktari, come 2022? We've learned from the past, of course.
What has he improved? What has he improved that I can see here?
Okay, all right.
Let me tell you, that we lost the first election, and Wakenya needed to hear this. The nullification of our election, which we worked so hard, some of us got accidents, running with Jubilee t-shirts, running with Jubilee everywhere in this country. We lost that election over one thing. One thing. Anybody who has studied political patterns, a campaign pattern, election pattern, the current Deputy Chief Justice asked one question, Victor Olo. Where did you put the spoiled ballot? Where did you put the spoiled ballot? Do you remember that?
Right, I do.
Yes. Now, Chebukati is not telling us where will he put the spoiled ballot. He is still now telling people how to run an election. What? Let MPs sit down and throw this guy out. Constitute a new, let them pay him for compensation. This guy should not touch a ballot again in Kenya. No. No. Okay. Because it's going to bring chaos for you. I'm honest. I have nothing against Chebukati. He's a lawyer man like me. But I speak the truth. I don't hide like him. We lost that election. Jubilee lost because Deputy Chief Justice Mwiru asked one question. So, the spoiled ballots, where are they? And the question, I was in Intercontinental monitoring the court. I went, and by that time I was drinking. I used to drink my brandy, cognac, Hennessy. I went up and bought Hennessy, and I said, "Bring me 2 bottles of Hennessy. We have lost this election."
Okay,
I swear, God is watching me. We lost that election from that question.
All right. Okay, Daktari. All right.
Yes.
I'm told that we are running out of time, and it's just barely 1 hour, and time is running. And of course, we just have to stop it there. Of course, we will still continue with this discussion, and you know how we do it on social media, and of course, on social media, of course, we'll be following on what you do. You usually post so many things on your social media. I'm a fan, and I usually read some of those, some of those.
Yeah, Victor, one of the things I've posted is thank you very much, KBC, for returning a variety of voices.
Of course.
I have now returned to camp here.
Yes.
And I want to thank Dr. Bilal. Comrade, thank you. Thank you. We shall support you. We shall support you. Thank you.
You are yet to see more. We are yet to see more. We've just started, of course, last evening and just today. You are yet to see more. And of course, we have got the legends, I've correctly put it. And moving forward towards the week, it's going to be an amazing week. And of course, the legends, as you correctly put it, are going to be here. Okay. Daktari, thank you so much. Of course, that is Dr. David Masanga calling the shot. With no stoned and turned. That's the way he puts it. Not stoned and not turned and stoned. All right? That's the way he puts it. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Daktari. Thank you. Thank you, Daktari. And of course, the discussion still continues. And this is Good Morning Kenya is just a few minutes past 9 a.m. And the show continues. Jane will be here with me shortly so that we continue the discussion after this break. All right? Oh, before the break, Jane is joining me. Come on.
Here right now. Here right
Join me
now.
On the yellow side. On the yellow side. On the yellow side.
Following the side that adjusts to my color. Wale walienda social media akina Gladys wakisema my roots are showing.
What is showing?
It is tukifanya in the headlines.
Allah. Okay.
Guys are thoroughly following. But, just from that conversation,
yes.
Dr. Masanga has been known to be very passionate about the Jubilee government, supporting the president in all that he does. Yeah. And he's one of the few people who actually come out to openly support the president, regardless of, what the greater population might think.
Yes.
So we are here to bring you all these conversations, by the way, to represent all sides of the political scape here in our country. I'm a VP Vic.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we'll never stop talking. We'll continue to educate you people and just touch on some of these issues that you need to know. And of course, moving towards general election, there is so much that we need to learn and even you to get informed all about. What should you expect, Jen?
All right, so now when we always talk about mental health, this is a conversation that we as the KBC fraternity are very passionate about, and we always have it almost on a monthly basis. And this is just in line with helping you find a coping mechanism that is healthy. So up next, we're going to be having a conversation around mental health and just trying to understand depression and the role that addiction has to play when it comes to that and the treatment options that are available. So keep it here. Any questions that you may be having in regards to that, we will be here to help you address them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Shatian?
Grandpa, I miss you.
Oh, good boy. Good boy. I miss you too.
Keep it short.
Since you left for America, I feel empty most of the time.
Say it again.
What brings you to San Francisco?
Yes. San Fran.
How long do you plan on staying in San Francisco? Can I see your return ticket?
Saturn gave it to me when he left. To keep me company.
Lakini ujue huku nyumbani majukumu yanakungoja.
Mimi naja Lea, naja.
Heri Kuda anajistiri kwake kuliko kuku anachangatanga kwa watu mwisho akageuzwa mboga.
Ikiwa wewe hukushughulika, hata na hawa watoto wa dadako. Leo mimi nitakuhusisha vipi na masala yake?
Maya, mamdogo hawezi kukaa hapa.
Hawezi ama utaki akae hapa.
Na ukifukuzwa kule nyumbani, usije kunibishia hodi huko kwangu.
Ubishiwe.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo nunca.
Months ago, I prevented Amaya from dying, and then now, she saved my life.
Apparently, Chiapas is a place where your lives came together.
Don't you realize that if you do that, you're going to lose your son?
Listen, I don't care. I would rather do that than let him die.
If you're afraid and paranoid that I'll take her away from you just like you did, you can just take it easy. Because I know that I'm not that desperate.
All Elite Era starts.
That is awesome.
Thank you very much for coming here for this event. This event was launching of the broadcasting rights for KBC for the World Rally Championship, the WRC Safari Rally for this year, 2021. Therefore, every Kenyan is going to be able to have an opportunity to watch every step and every action that is going on the rally. It's a great time for us. We're very excited that after 19 years, the rally is actually back here in Kenya. The President has put a lot of effort to ensure that this has happened, as well as the Ministry of Sports under CS Amina Mohammed, to make sure that we're going to see this great event come back to our country.
Welcome back. We are glad that you are still with us. This remains to be Good Morning Kenya, of course, the new look edition of KBC as a whole. We welcome you to share with us your thoughts, by the way, what you think about this rebrand that we have undergone as the broadcasting house, all in line with bringing a better content in terms of quality and also the quantity to you straight to your homes. And remember, the hashtag to use ever remains Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1 is our official station handle. My individual handle ever remains to be at Jane Wambui across all the social media platforms. Now, we want to get into this next conversation, and as mentioned, this is all about mental health wellness. Again, this is part of a series of conversations that we always have on a monthly basis, just to try and help you find healthy avenues to have conversations around mental health, get proper information from the experts that we get to bring in studio. And this morning we have two of them for you. With me to my immediate left, we have Maury Fixton Kamau, who is a counseling psychologist who works at Nobility House. Good morning, Kamau.
Good morning.
Thank you for making time to be with us today.
Pleasure to have me.
Absolutely. And to my furthest left, we also have Dr. Beatrice Muthoni Maingi, who is also a counseling psychologist as well as the founder of Nobility Restoration House. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, Wamboi.
Thank you so much for making time to be with us today, and more so to have conversations around mental health. So let me start with you, Dr. Beatrice. You know, when we talk about mental health generally, from what you have seen interacting with various people in different spaces, what is the perception that people have about when it comes to talking about mental illnesses and challenges that we get to experience?
Yeah, thank you, Wamboi. Mental health is still an area that many people don't want to talk about, especially when it's happening in the family.
Yes.
Especially because of the perception that when someone has a mental illness or a mental health condition, it is a sign of weakness. Some people think it is a sign of something wrong with the person. And there are those who will go to the extreme of thinking that there are issues of maybe someone has been bewitched. So they want to keep those issues under the carpet.
Yes.
They want to push them under the carpet. And so what happens is that the person continues, the issue continues to escalate. So by the time they are seeking help for the person, the problem has gone too far. And that's why you'll find people going to mental health institutions and spending a long time as the doctors and mental health practitioners are trying to rehabilitate that person because the issue took so long before an intervention happened.
Most of the time we seek help when somebody has gotten to a breaking point.
Yes.
And at that point, the damage is usually far done, and it requires a lot of effort as opposed to having talked about it earlier.
Yes.
Now, let me come to also to you, Kamau. You know, I'd like to understand, and especially from a man's perspective, when it comes to talking about mental health awareness and wellness, do you feel that these gender roles that have been assigned by society contribute to the disparity that we see when it comes to men and women talking about mental health issues?
Yeah, indeed, as I've alluded to that. You know, the socialization of how we have been cultured, a man is given that opportunity to try and wrestle with the issues first.
Yes.
So man has this tendency first to keep quiet and to try to mediate the problem by self instead of reaching out for help very fast. And especially when you are looking at it from a man perspective, you will see man want to feel in charge. Because whenever you are asking what I call vulnerability, when you ask for help,
yes,
people equate that one as weakness. So this is weakness. And that's where Dr. is saying, you find that by the time someone comes to say, I'm suffering from depression, from anxiety, I have phobia, and all these manners of mental illnesses, it is too late. You find someone has really escalated this matter. And yes, indeed, gender issues bring that disparity.
Yes.
Where men, we tend to wait until when it is so long, and then this is when we're asking for help. But thank God, because of a new generation, which you call Generation Z, at least this young generation, they are coming out, they are speaking, and they are seeking for help, and they don't feel stigmatized to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. you know, there was an article that I came across that indicated that women are most likely to have a depressive episode at some point in their life as opposed to men. What do you think could be facilitating or leading to such a scenario where, just looking at general research, it has indicated that women are more likely to have depressive episodes as opposed to our male counterparts?
Yes, thank you, Wamboi. The reason for this is because the women, the roles they play, they have more things to do in the family, and the way they relate with the issues that they deal with, they put their heart into what they're doing. They personalize everything.
Yes.
It's about my children, it's about my family, it's about my church, it's about my belief. And so when things are not going well in all those areas of their life, it hits them harder than it would do a man.
Yes.
Especially a woman who is married, she has a husband to take care of, children to take care of, maybe even a career of her own,
yes,
and maybe even issues about her belief system and all that. When there are things going wrong in those areas of our life, they hit women harder than men.
Okay.
Because of the way women personalize issues. You see, even the way women protect their children and the expectations they have for their children. So when they realize that things are not going the way they would, they take that issue so personally, and it starts affecting them personally. And then it affects also the way they relate with their children. So instead of them now being helpful to their children, they kind of get enmeshed. And so everyone in the family now has a problem. The mother has a problem. The children have a problem. And now the rescue has to come from an external person.
All right.
Yes.
And also just still on the same breath, you know, the aspect of how women are more likely to have a depressive episode. Is that also the same science that is behind, you know, what we were seeing with nurses across the world during this COVID time, especially when we were at the peak? You found that more female nurses were reporting depressive episodes as opposed to the male counterparts, because for some reason or the other, you found it was the women who were being directed to offer psychological counseling to some of the patients and all. I don't know what you think about this whole situation where it is mostly, and especially now looking at the medical space, where it is the female nurses who are being asked to speak to some of the COVID-19 patients to try and just console them, and even they're the ones who have to deliver the news if they happen to lose a patient, psychologically speaking.
Yeah, looking at that, as you have said, you say a woman has this intuitiveness to nurture. That intuitiveness to nurture makes them to have that overarching need to try and help.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so they feel, I want to do something.
Yes.
That's why you find that, and remember, women have intuitions with life because they are the carriers of life. And in this sense, they always have that feeling of, I can do something. And somehow the environment have given a woman a very much field to cover so much. You have seen some in social media, a woman carrying water, carrying firewood, and carrying the baby, and carrying something on her hands, and the man is walking beside that woman. It is in the same thing in a psychological world. Those represent the baggages you have just said. That this is the same woman who is a wife to someone. It's the same woman who is a career woman. It's the same woman who is needed to go and do that and do this. So at the end of the day, you find the burnout and stress, it's so much on the same woman. And this one again, you find it could be a premise on culture. Because you understand sometimes, even patients sometimes may feel better when they address their issues by a woman.
Yes.
Because even when you're talking to our client, we ask them, who do you think, do you prefer any counselor or psychologist to address your issues? You may find some people say, I want a woman. Because someone may feel, yes, a woman is able to address my issues, my psychological issues, my well-being issues, well than a man.
Yes.
Yes, and actually even in the field of psychology right now, you will have Dr. Beatrice who tell you this. It is many women who are in the career of psychology.
All right. And, you know, that just goes to challenge the narrative that is out there, you know, looking at the STEM courses and career paths. You find a lot of men gravitating to that, but looking at the softer, quote unquote, or the humanities side of careers, you find a lot of women on that divide. Arguable. But now let's come to the area of focus of today's discussion, and this is the relationship between mental health, wellness, and addiction. Let me start with you, Dr. Beatrice. You know, please help us understand what's the relationship between our mental health and addiction, if there is any, from a scientific or psychological point of standing.
Yes, thank you, Wamboi. Addiction is sometimes fueled by mental health issues. And this is something that we are really trying to educate people about the correlation between addiction and mental health. Because in the mental health institutions that we run, there is something we call the addiction tree. The addiction tree means that the addiction is just a fruit. And when you see that fruit on top of the tree, if you just cut that fruit, there is a possibility that another fruit will grow.
Germinate.
Because there is even when you stop someone from getting addicted to one substance, they can get addicted to another substance because the roots are still very strong. So in these facilities, what you do is that you don't focus on the fruit of addiction. You ask yourself, what is fueling this? What lies at the root of the tree? And it is only when you cut the roots of this addiction that you're able to now help the person to manage the addiction. Because when you go to the roots of this addiction tree, you will find issues of trauma. That someone, there is a voice, there is a pain that someone is trying to medicate. Maybe a trauma that happened in their childhood. You will find that especially women, some of them will have gone through sexual abuse, maybe by a relative or someone, and it is something they have never shared with anyone. So that pain, as they grow up, you know, the pain gets louder and louder. Because we say addiction is an attempt to medicate an inner pain, or it is an attempt to silence an inner voice.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes trauma is one of them. Other times you will find that someone has an underlying mental condition. In fact, in most of the addiction facilities, you will find that most of the people will be diagnosed with either depression or anxiety. And so when you put them on a program of medication for that depression, then the counselors are able to do the other work of psychotherapy as the medicine is also doing its part.
All right. Now, allow me to just come in at this particular point, Dr. because I'd like to help even our viewers who are watching us at home to understand some of these root causes that in one way or the other are linked to some of the mental health conditions that and illnesses that we are seeing today, and depression being one of the highest reported case, and especially among the youth. And I like the fact that you've mentioned trauma. I'd like to help. Let's talk a bit about that. You know, when you talk about trauma, and maybe I could start with you, Kamau. When you talk about trauma, and particularly childhood trauma, which may manifest later in life, to what extent does it have an impact when it comes to exposing or predisposing someone to any form of mental illness at some point or the other? Childhood trauma.
When it is a childhood trauma, actually we say between the age of 0 to around 3, even to 5. When a child has experienced trauma, it really predisposes the child to what now we are talking about mental health, unaware of the child. And some of time, like there is a condition we call multiple dissociation disorder. It's someone existing in a multiple of person in one.
Like having multiple personalities?
Yes.
I'm trying to use layman's language.
You find when, for example, a child has been abused, this child learns to fragment himself or herself. So there's a child that cries, and there's the child that manifests to the world outside. For example, when you have an authoritarian father, and especially when the abuser is the father. So how does this child come to love the father and hate him at the same time? And the same father is the one who provides what we call the secure environment for the child. So already the mind of this child becomes fragmented. I had a client like that, and she tells me, this is Esther talking. Then she manifests like Esther. Then she tells me, this is another personality now talking. And you can see changing. This is the extent of abuse, how it can go deeper in matters psychology, in matters mental, in matters mind.
And to what extent do you think, you know, this form of trauma, and especially when it comes to violence, during looking at your childhood phase, can contribute to addiction becoming a result?
Exactly. Now that's where Dr. is saying, when this one is continuing for a period of time, because this child will reach out somewhere, she will need to silence those voices. Voices of you are nothing. Voices, the world is not a safer place to be. By the way, we call them neurotic behaviors. So these neurotic behaviors, one of them you will find is addiction. Because addiction provides for what we call existential avoidance. Meaning you are running away from the pain that you are feeling. And it's giving you a place of utopia where you feel accepted.
All right. Now, let me come to you, Dr. Beatrice, still looking at that aspect of childhood trauma. When it comes to addressing, now getting help, and especially from a younger age to avoid such results, at what point do you think that it can best be handled to avoid a situation where we are seeing childhood traumas manifesting in adulthood and consequently leading to addiction? At what point do you think there can be intervention that can prevent addiction becoming out as a result of childhood trauma?
Okay, thank you. You see, for a problem to be handled, it has to manifest. There are people
sadly,
sadly,
oh, wow.
Yes, because people can have those experiences, those traumatic experiences, but they never manifest, so that no one gets to know that they are going through that inner pain. Until now, it manifests either in addiction or, you know, antisocial behavior. You know, it's like someone is now trying to fight back, to hit back at the people who traumatized them.
Yes.
Because they're now feeling that I'm now big enough. You cannot do what you did to me when I was a child. Now I will fight back with this addiction. I'll fight back with this.
I'll pay back.
I'll pay back. I'll pay back. Okay? My father, you made me feel like nothing when I was helpless.
Yes.
Now see, come and beat me. I am 28. I will drink myself silly. I will embarrass the whole family. I'm fighting back. You see? So it is when now the problems manifest that an intervention can happen. Because you see, we say that in psychology, it is about connecting the dots. If you're able to connect
and tracing the path.
Tracing the path backwards. You engage in a reverse gear and ask, where did the rain start beating you? And that is why today, instead of asking someone, a client, what is the problem here? We like to ask, what happened to you? Because you want to go back and find out what is the root cause of what we are seeing.
Okay.
So it has to manifest so that an intervention can happen. And there is a concept that we do at the training, at the facilities that we run.
Yes.
Where we are talking about the reparenting oneself. We are now training people who are in their 20s, in their 30s, because they are still suffering from the traumatic experiences that they went through, the abuse that they went through when they were growing up. But now that they are big enough, we are saying you can start all over again, to give yourself what you expected to receive from your parents. Is it affirmation that they did not give you when you feel that you have achieved?
Yes.
Give yourself that affirmation. Did they neglect you? Then engage in what we are calling self-care. So we are saying going back and actually giving yourself what you did not receive from your parents, so that your self-esteem can grow. Because again, issues of low self-esteem still happen to be at the root cause.
One of the root causes.
It is one of the root causes.
Okay.
So reparenting oneself is one of the concepts that we are using when handling issues of childhood trauma.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's come to something that I feel is very alive in this time and space that we are in, and this is mostly external factors, environmental factors.
Yes.
And let's look at now the professional aspect of so many people who are working. And just looking at last year, people lost their jobs in the millions. People went into depression, and some resorted to other extracurricular activities that in one way or the other brought about addiction.
Yes.
Now, for those who find turning to such maybe unhealthy coping mechanisms as a way to cope with life, I don't know how you address this from a psychological point of standing. Does one always need a coping mechanism to deal with some of these life challenges that come unexpectedly? Let me hear from you, Kamau.
It is interesting because I just want to throw our wax into the spanner here. Actually, there's a very big connection between COVID-19, which is the external factor, mental health, and addiction. And something ran, I think, in the news, this man who not only wanted to kill himself, but also kill the children. And many people are wondering, why should you want to kill the children and not yourself?
Yeah.
You get it? Now, there are three factors. One, we call it eros. The other one, we call it chronos and thanatos. I will explain what are those.
You said eros, I remember eros love, agape love.
But eros, it is that energy to want to live.
Okay.
The desire to live and procreate and embrace life.
Yes.
The chronos is the desire to preserve yourself as a person. So you want to live, you want to have secure job and everything. Then the natos is the desire to die because the world is no longer a safer place to be. Now, when Corona came, what it happened, it provoked the existential need of us living. So people have observed that at the end of the day, we die like dogs. At the end of the day, the world is not a better place. They fired me. A lot of people are already angry. So already people are angry because of so many things. So they just need a small trigger to tip everything off and to have it as a way of killing. That's why you find that father does not want his child to live in this world that is chaotic. So he will not only kill himself, but he will also kill the children. So death has become the only option that people are running away to deal with their issues. It is that deeper. And one thing you will find during things like pandemic and people being fired and everything, you will find aggression will be so high. Because already the external factors, they're affecting our psychological well-being and the pressure. So the only thing that you need right now is a trigger and everything goes kaboom. That's why you find the father killing the children. Even a 1 year old child, you wonder, why should you kill your 1 year old child? Because the world is no longer a safer place. Now, another thing you will find in this time is what you are addressing now, hope. Hope becomes one of the best coping mechanisms. Because we normally talk of high stressful situation, like being fired. Then the next thing that will stop you is your coping mechanism. And a coping mechanism is just that ability to be able to reframe something, to look it at another angle. We call it a Gestalt framework. If I turn this thing ahead of me, you will find another angle you have not found it. And one thing that can help people is to appreciate life during chaotic time.
That is hard.
How do you appreciate life
that is hard.
In a chaotic time? Because it is not as bad as it looks like. But you see, the moment, because you see, if you place a child right now in this room, and the mother leaves, the child cries. Because there is that life instinct of safety and everything associated with the mother. Now, this is what Corona has done to us. Corona has come and has tampered with our life instincts, our job, our work, our spouses, our everything. People have lost their loved one. They have seen their loved one buried. They didn't visit the burial. They didn't have a closure. You are fired on your phone. Please don't come. Your job is no longer here. So how do you sit down in that family and start? So the essence of living, the meaning and the hope is gone. Now you can see the mental health now. You can see the depression and you can see the addiction.
Okay. Now, let me come to you, Dr. Bridges. When we talk about coping mechanisms, and especially just borrowing from what Kamau has said, why are coping mechanisms important? Are they important, and why is that so?
They are important because when we are faced by different issues, the way we respond to the issues will depend on our threshold. And that's why as we train people about parenting on the different stages of life, we talk about instilling psychological resources for children so that as they move from one stage of life to another, there are psychological tools that they are picking to be able to deal with the life ahead. And one of the psychological tools is resilience. Resilience. Because there is a stage of life when the child is asking, will I make it in this world of people and things? And now the work of the parent is to train the child on problem-solving skills and to encourage them when things don't go the way they're expecting. When a child comes home from school and they have a report that is not very impressive, the teacher has already graded them and maybe given them 30%. So the parent is not the teacher to again start grading the child. Your work is to build the resilience of that child and to tell them, okay, this is what has happened, but you can do better. So you train them on problem-solving skills. So if that is the voice that is in the mind of that child, even when they grow up, when things go wrong, when things are not working out, they will still hear that voice of saying that you can still continue trying, keep trying, don't give up. You will make it, you will make it. And that's why you find that even when people lost their jobs, people behave differently. There are those who went straight home and committed suicide. There are those who got into depression. There are those who got into addiction. But there are those who are very busy doing things which they never thought they would do. Some are very busy working in the farms, from a high-end office to the farm, and they are okay. Because you see, they have that resilience.
Okay.
And so coping skills are very important.
Now,
yes.
Now, we are almost out of time. Then, of course, you can add a rejoinder to that. But as you do that, and we close this conversation, maybe you could also go to just speak to our viewers this morning and maybe give us pointers when it comes to picking healthy coping mechanisms. For most people, you might not know which is a healthy coping mechanism. You know, this could be an escape from your current reality, but in the long run, it might not be healthy, and in one way or the other could lead to addiction. What are some of those healthy coping mechanisms that from a psychological standing you have seen are beneficial for any individual out there? Very briefly as we get to close.
Let me just mention some.
Yes.
And say coping mechanism, one of them helps you to externalize. So I am not a failure. I am Kamau who failed an exam.
Separating the problem from the person.
Yes, you externalize it. So I'm not a failure. So the another thing we say is, one of them we call it mindfulness. Allow yourself to be in the present rather than escaping to deal with the issue. Be now, be here, because what drugs does, it helps you temporarily to escape from the moment, but escalating it later when you come back. So allow yourself to be in the moment and check what you can do. Another thing we call is cognitive diffusion. Detach yourself with what is happening as if you are seeking from afar. So I have been fired, and being fired is something like operate from afar. Then choose the emotion to deal with your own issues.
Okay.
And just last one, just to mention, check on what we call rumination. Rumination is where you find someone pondering on something so much. Don't disallow yourself to think on something repeatedly over the time. Because once you do that, especially on a negative situation, it just makes you feel a failure, and that's where the need to medicate now comes in. And also incorporate spirituality. It is very key. We call it biopsychosocial spiritual.
I think that's a whole other conversation that I am seeing, especially the millennials really redirecting themselves to, you know, just awakening your spirituality. But Dr. Beatrice, as we close, very briefly, what coping mechanisms would you encourage our viewers this morning, both the young and the old, could incorporate in their daily habits to just help dealing with everyday stresses?
Okay. As I talk about the coping mechanisms, there is one prayer that we say at the Nobility Restoration Center. We call it the Serenity Prayer. Being able to separate or to classify problems, because there are those things that you can change, those things that you cannot change. And then we say, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So you need to identify, is this something that I can change? If the answer is no, then make peace with that. Then the courage to change the things that you can. So if there is something that you can change, then have the courage and have the strategy to change. And then you also need to have the wisdom to know the difference between the things you can change and things that you cannot change. But one thing that we say, we have protective and risk factors when it comes to issues of mental health and addiction. One of the coping mechanisms, talk to someone. If it is something that you feel is overwhelming you, talk to someone that you trust. And that's why we talk about social support. Do you have someone that you can talk to?
Okay.
Maybe a family member, maybe a friend. So don't hold it in, because when you hold it in, that is where the issues of depression start coming in.
All right.
Yes.
Now, due to the interest of time, again, we'll have to put a pause there. But these are conversations that I always say we can never exhaust in one sitting, and that is why we have multiple of them on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. We have been speaking with Dr. Beatrice Muthoni Mainge. She is the founder of a Nobility Restoration Center, and she is a counseling psychologist as well. We have also been speaking with Maury Fixton Kamau, who is a counseling psychologist working with Nobility Restoration House. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. And with that, I do believe we've come to the end of today's program. I don't know, Victor, kama utakuja tusalimia watu bae pamoja or what? All right, yeah, I'm told Victor is coming up in a bit, so stay with us. We run this quick montage, but we'll be back with Vic. All right, and we are just back to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate you for always making time to be with us. I am Jane Wamboy. Vic.
Of course, yes. Where's my camera? Camera two. Boom. All right. Yeah,
there we are.
You go. All right. Thank you so much. It has been an amazing Tuesday. And of course, we appreciate you for always waking up every Tuesday morning, every single day of the day, just to catch this particular show. We appreciate you. Let's do this again tomorrow. My name is Victor Lowe. Have a good day.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.